guarantee you what we're about to talk about is not as good as what we just talked about during the break, but it's a family show. So Brittany Gibbons is here.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having
How's
me.
everything?
Wonderful.
Brittany is super famous and super successful. She started out with a blog, but now you've moved on to a television show and another television show, and it's really exciting.
It's fun.
It is fun.
It's a fun job.
Well, you made it yourself. We were talking about that. We were
I
talking
did.
about, where you go to college and what it should be, but you created your own career.
I did.
That's such great, it's so inspiring to people, but I don't know that we can all do it. What is the key to creating
It seems like
your
it
career?
happened overnight too, but it was like a 6-year.
I remember when you
thing.
were blogging 5 years ago. I'm like, oh, this is good. And
It's a hustle.
It
It's a
went
hustle.
every day.
Every
it
day.
builds.
Every day.
Every day. And it looks like instant success, but in the middle of the night, you're sending out emails, responding to
My
things.
eye bags beg to differ.
Your eye bags. You don't even have eye bags. All right, so you are the champion for a lot of things, but one of the things, I'd never heard the phrase fat shaming
Yes.
until you started to write about it.
Correct.
And so first of all, what is fat shaming? We talk about what is it, that word. What does it mean when someone's
Sure.
looking at it?
Sure. It's really, especially today in social media world, it's a very prevalent thing, and you may not even know that you're doing it or that you're seeing it. But it's just sort of this natural, sort of innate ability for people to look at somebody who's, in this case, overweight, and in some way shame them.
Belittle them in some way.
And you see it across people in Walmart. You see it somebody taking a picture and blasting it across Facebook, and it could be as like volatile as that, or it could be as small as you just giving somebody a dirty look in a restaurant because they're overweight and eating.
And
Like,
you've got a judgment about it.
right, right. And then of course just the comment section on any site that deals with anything weight related is a hotbed of shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just this sort of general behavior that we sort of have in this day and age to sort of shame people who we feel are less of value or worth to us, and in this case, it's obesity and plus size.
In Catholic school, I remember I had one little lesson. Anytime you criticize someone else, it's because you're trying to lift yourself up.
That's absolutely the case.
You feel bad about yourself, so you say something negative about someone else, and that is what you're trying to do to equalize yourself. So anytime
absolutely.
someone fat shames you, you have to turn around and ask, why? What's your problem?
Logically, you want to have that thought process, but when you're on the other end of it, which is kind of what we're going to
It
get
just
into.
feels mean.
You're not in that headspace. You're in such a rock bottom headspace that it's not logical for me to think, oh, it's okay. I understand you have self-esteem. and
You're in
taking that out on
pain.
me.
Please take it out.
You don't think that at the time. So
Please let me be your therapy.
Right, exactly. You don't have that sort of mental space, and I don't owe you that mental space. So at the same time.
So you have been on this from the get-go. Like I said,
Yes.
one of the very first people ever talking about it. And now there's a study that comes out, because me and studies, I love studies. And this is from the PLOS. I don't even know what their group is, but it's official.
It's official.
It's official. And they actually did a study to find out how do people do if they are shamed, so to speak. 6,157 overweight Americans were studied, and some of them experienced discrimination or felt bad about their weight or were told they should feel bad about their weight. Some did not. Some were, in a much more supportive environment. So the conventional wisdom is if you shame someone, they'll be moved to do something different. But what it turns out, which you've known all along because you're smarter, is that 2.5 times more likely to continue to have unhealthy habits if someone is, or stay obese if the person was obese, if someone's berating you or doing the fat shaming.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been sort of my point all along. That
It has been, and now there's research.
Nobody's going to take care of something that they don't value. I often use a sort of like analogy of shoes. If you have new shoes, you don't walk in puddles, you take care of them, they're expensive, and you take pride in them. If you have old shoes, you don't care if you step in the puddles, you don't care if you get them dirty. So I sort of use that in an analogy of weight. So people who are in a good headspace, it's like having those new shoes. And people who aren't there yet, it's like they're wearing those old puffy Velcro snow boots from the 80s. They're like, I don't
Which
care
are
what I
awesome.
sit in. It doesn't matter. I already look like crap.
So that leads us right into the column that you wrote, or the blog post. Brittany's blog is brittanyherself.com. And you wrote a column called I'm Not a Fat Enabler. And then, of course, the Huffington Post loves Brittany to death. They love her. And here was the column on the HuffPost. So it even got wider distribution. It went from your super popular blog to Mr. Worldwide here. And I'm not a fat enabler. And this is really good because when people talk to me, when I say you should accept yourself,
Yes.
oh no, if you're unhealthy, you shouldn't accept. Talk about, I'm not saying,
Right.
talk about what does it mean?
It's a confusing place for people, I think. I get that a lot, and in fact, that's what inspired me to write this article. Is I actually had a friend tell me that what I was in essence doing was just enabling people to stay obese and unhealthy, assuming that those are at all correlated. So
right,
right,
which is not
which we know
a
is
whole
not.
nother thing.
So I sort of thought about it, and I thought, I get this a lot, and I really wanted to explain it. And there's a lot of movements. There's a pro fat movement. There's like a pro body love movement, and I'm somewhere in the middle. In the middle.
Right.
I'm the right now you're cool movement. Like,
right.
Get in that space now, because the only way you're going to take care of yourself is if you're built up and you feel good about yourself. It's the only way any of that's going to stick. You can yo-yo diet all over the place, but if you don't like yourself, you're not going to care enough to keep going with it.
Well, I mean, my argument when I talk about weight loss or wanting to lose weight myself,
Sure.
people say it's a self-esteem thing. I'm like, well, actually, no. You're one of the most self-confident people I've ever met. I'm accused of the same thing, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But
Right.
I don't feel, for me, weight and self-esteem are not correlated.
No.
To me, I feel good about myself. Sometimes I'm making some choices, sometimes I'm making other choices.
Right. It's amazing to me. It's sort of like the defense that people have in their commentary. Like, I get a lot of negative comments, especially when I do fashion posts, bikini posts, bathing posts.
Everyone has their 2 cents.
Everybody, you need to lose weight for your health. That's how they are. Like, thank you. But
Right.
you're also eating McDonald's, but it's okay
Right,
because
right.
you're thinner than I am. And
Right, no one can judge you. You're
right,
skinny.
Right.
Right.
It's a very sort of dangerous thing that we're doing. And what in essence is happening is that we are really sort of being horrible to an entire population of people and expecting them to take this bullying and then change. And I've met nobody who's come out the other side of bullying thinking, you know what?
So glad
I'm
about that.
fat and gross. I'm going to take care of that right now. So,
Y'all are right
yeah.
about me.
In general, you're absolutely correct. So I'm going to go ahead and diet right now. And that's never happened. It leads to staying more obese. It leads to depression, suicide, dangerous yo-yo dieting, diet pills, that sort of thing. And none of that is healthy, which
None
is
of it.
what they claim they want us all to be.
Right.
So just changing that conversation has been my goal.
And it's working. And she's getting national attention because it's a great argument that you're making and people are going, light bulb, makes
Right.
sense. All right, so we also, Brittany and I are talking about our favorite new things. I really want to show you guys this new I was given this by Jawbone, and I want to show that on the air. This is my latest health thing. I want to say why it's good, not just for, some people use it to track their activities, and other people use it to, connect with their, tracking their food. It's supposed to let you know how much you're moving around. I'm going to tell you how I've been using it, and that is to track my sleep. My biggest problem is not food anymore or exercise. I sometimes binge on food, but I always exercise. So I'm getting that. I've got that. That's all good, but I don't sleep enough.
I see everybody wearing those. Those are so cool. And
It
I'm a
is
big
cool.
Jawbone fan in general. All their products are so cool.
So this is
Yeah.
my new thing, and I want to just let you know about it. It's not cheap. It's $129. But what is helping me change is the other part of my life, which is the sleep part of my life. So, your health isn't just about food and walking around and lifting weights. It is about rest and restorative time. And this has been helping me see how much I sleep, how much I don't sleep. And
Right.
it's been like
It's scary.
forcing me to go to bed early. I'm like, oh, I really don't need to know who got voted off of America's Got Talent. I guess I'll go to bed. Which I really
know.
don't. I can
I know.
find out the next day. So this is my thing. I recommend the Jawbone for that. Like I said, it's not a cheap thing, but it is a really effective way. And I do look kind of cool wearing it.
You do. It's a neat product.
Okay, so and your favorite new thing, and I like this too. We were talking about your
Yes.
Instagram queen.
I am an Instagram queen, and I love Instagram video. I hated it at first, but now I've come around. I'm
You're
a
getting
huge
into it.
Instagram video user, especially my kids really
They're
like
hilarious on it.
They have they want to sort of
They're stars. They're superstars.
They want to get out in there, and this is like their 15 seconds to do that. I was never a fan of Vine, which is a Twitter thing. It was
More
so-
restrictive, yeah.
But I'm loving Instagram video.
All right, so she's the guru on just about all things social media. So I also agree, Instagram. Follow Brittany on Instagram, BrittanyHerself.com, and of course find us on FullPlate.tv. I'll link you to Brittany, I'll link you to Paula, I'll link you to Jawbone. I feel like Wonder Woman, right? What else have we talked about? All that stuff, yeah, bulletproof. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great week. We'll see you next week. So it's good. Yeah, I like this,
so cool.
the sleepy thing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I track all over the place. I know how to do that. And pedometers are great, but this just has
Is it
that
like you eat 4 times less?
It does.
Like,
It's like
that-
you got
that
up
is
3
what I'm
times. It took you X